Hey guys, this is Jagan. Welcome to a VO strategy guide or voiceover strategy guide. We'll be doing the Rumble of Malboro ELT. As you can see, I've completed this trial already with all the achievements, and that is evoke Ifrit, defeat the Great Malboro with a limit burst, and no items used. I did it in one run, so this is my actual exact party, exact gear, exact espers that I used to defeat him the first time in a single run. Of course, you can see that the party is not a weak party. They're all 5-star base units. Here's my gear and materia. So at this point in the game, I am not using obviously the trial rewards like Malboro's whip or tentacle. But I do have a friend that does have it, so that will be helpful against the demon aspect of Malboro. 2 of my Christines are not fully potted at all, especially the second one, the weaker one, is absolutely no pots on her at all. So this is quite a mediocre team when it comes to 5-star. They're not fully loaded. Now I personally have a tough time deciding who's the MVP of this fight. In my opinion, White Knight Noel and Noctis are keys in this battle. Obviously, you would say that, oh, there's 3 Christines, they're the damage dealers, and yeah, you'd be right. But even them as damage dealers, the survivability actually comes from, I think, Noctis and White Knight Noel. As you can see in the first turn, I used Bring It On, Fire Flask, Lovely Guard, to prevent any ailments, status ailments, and Winterfall to load up my Snow Burial. For this turn, it's a free turn, so I used Pod 153's shield for damage mitigation. This is all really for White Knight Noel's survivability. As you can also see, I have no healer on the team, fully relying on Marie's Love You All Enhanced, which actually recovers quite an amount of HP, and also White Knight Noel's Bring It On with Mechanical Heart. So as you can see, he's taking almost no damage, and Mechanical Heart really just heals him back up. Because White Knight Noel's counters are all magic based, as in he needs to receive magic damage before he counters, so you're not actually wasting any countering chance. So Mechanical Heart actually just keeps on going. So this is turn 3, so I have him guarding because it's another free turn. I have Eccentric for loading up my Limit Burst crystals. And Noctis, as you'll see, he's very useful using Fire Flask to blind the mini Malboros, which can, cause them to miss, obviously. And Thunder Flask to Spirit and Magic break them. That's also very important because they do a lot of magic damage, and spirit breaking them is always a really good thing, especially when I want to take them down before they hit the thresholds and before they have, before they're doing something dangerous. So this is turn 4. So another thing about Noctis is his cover ability, which regenerates MP a lot quicker for all of my characters here. I don't need an MP battery just because I have Noctis. So Noctis is really, to me, he's really my MVP support and damage. As you'll see in a couple turns, he'll be chain capping or finishing my attacks, my chains there, with his Thunder Flask or Fire Flask, because they're actually a 4 times damage modifier, and this hybrid damage. If you saw my Noctis gear, I have attack and magic on him, so that he'll do good hybrid damage. So that's turn 5, so the Malboros are killed. So the big Malboro has his skin softened, which means I can damage him for 2 turns. So here I want to make sure Winterfall, dual casting my Snow Burial to do maximum damage with Noctis perfectly chain capping with Fire Flask. The key to Materia is just use Love You All and Lovely Guard for elemental resistance and status ailment resistance. You want to keep that cycle up, and in between obviously you're gonna have a couple turns where she can do other things. That's why I have Eccentric used in turn 3, and later on you'll actually see her do other stuff as well. She's also my Ifrit evoker. In one of the turns when we get our Esper Orbs, you'll see me casting Ifrit, and that accomplishes that mission. So turn 6, it's another free turn. Bring It On is a 2-turn provoke, or 3 turns, right? 3-turn provoke, and so I can guard on this turn. This is the turn 3 for Bring It On. And what we want to do is we want to make sure that the large Malboro doesn't actually go under 50% HP, otherwise that hits a threshold and his patterns change. So right now I am doing everything I can to damage the little ones and keeping the big Malboro HP above 50%. So as you can see, their HP is still really good. Again, this is without a healer. At this point I make a mistake. Supposed to use Bring It On at this point, but I accidentally just hit his regular attack. So I was thinking, oh crap, I'm screwed. But this is the turn that I use Ifrit. And then I reload Winterfall, so I can dual cast my Snow Barrel in the next couple turns. So that mission is accomplished. So without Bring It On, Bring It On Enhanced +2 has 120% increase in spirit and defense. So as you can see, that's why White Knight Noel just took a lot of damage, as well as not provoked. So a lot of other people got hit too. So now I get it back on, even though that kind of throws off my pattern. But I thought it was okay because I survived. So what I want to do now is use Thunder Flask. And I'm also thinking right now, I'm like, okay, now my pattern's thrown off. I need to make sure that I survive this. So it's time to kill the small Malboros. So I make sure Thunder Flask is used as a finisher. Now it's 4 times damage, which is really high, because I saw a party like this on YouTube, and someone used Cloud as the finisher, and his finishing touch, which you have to make sure you do AoE damage to make sure they die at the same time, and his finishing touch is the highest damage for AoE, and it's 4 times as well. And that Cloud that the person used had, I think, 1600 attack plus. I think he was fully loaded, and I think Thunder Flask actually does a better job because I'm dealing magic damage, so the Spirit Break while chain finishing is actually more effective. And for those of you who don't know, Thunder Flask is a 45% Spirit and Magic break, which is an incredible break actually. And this is of course with the Noctis, I wouldn't call it enhancements, but yeah, he got upgraded. I guess Noctis upgraded. Yeah, he's just really useful. That was a turn 9. Now in turn 10, I'm gonna damage the Great Malboro under 50% HP. I wanted to do it here at turn 10 because this actually bypasses any threshold abilities. Turn 10 and turn 11 is basically a free turn where he won't do anything scary, and so this is where I plan to take him down to 50% or under 50%. As you can see, I am going to be dual casting Snow Burial. and again chain capping with Noctis Thunder Flask. So that took a lot of damage on Great Malboro. As you can see, he's now down to 16%. And I know that wouldn't kill the little ones because they have their elemental resistance up. And I didn't dispel them on purpose, and which is why my White Knight Noel has Rama as the Esper, in case I had turns where I needed to dual cast Dispel, which also have the Holy Wand to be able to dual cast white magic, but I realized I didn't need it, so yeah. So because now it's been 2 turns, so Great Malboro's skin is actually hardened again, so I can't actually bring him down on this turn. So I'm thinking, because I need to finish him off with a Limit Burst, so this is where I need to use a bit of my brain. I don't want to screw up at this point in the match. So I guard, and I use Thunder Flask to make sure the little ones are broke, spirits are breaking, and I want to use Anti-Element because I want to reduce the resistance of the Malboros. I don't want to dispel them at this point because they have their spirit broken, but taking Anti-Element, which is 40% I believe reduction in all elemental resistances, which kind of balances out their elemental resistance, the small Malboros I mean. So I dual cast Snow Burial, and for my second Christine I could only single cast because I ran out of MP. This is why Noctis was very important at the beginning to keep that MP up. I don't know how I actually lost so much MP. But I suppose you only really needed 2 Christines to do this match, fully loaded I mean. The third one is really just a filler. You could actually fill my second Christine with a healer or even like Soleil, and you'll have no problem beating this. So this is the turn I need to kill. As the little ones are down, Great Malboro's skin is softened again. So I use Glacial Wave because that's a 50% reduction in Ice Elemental, and since my Christines are Ice Elemental, this is perfect. I use a Remager or Noctis' Limit Burst to finish off and make sure the Great Malboro is selected. For Marie, I have Chaos Grenade, which is from Riku's pouch, which is where I got my Eccentric from, and that will give me I think a 30% break for all attributes, and causes status ailments on the small ones, but it's really not needed, it's just for show. And this very last part here, I ran out of MP to even do 1 Snow Burial on my second Christine, so I just chose to use their Limit Burst. This will endow all people's physical attacks with Ice Element, which helps Noctis become Elemental Chainer with his Limit Burst. And yeah, that's it. That fulfills the kill Great Malboro with the Limit Burst objective, and I used no items at all, and so that is how I accomplished the mission. Obviously by now I have better TMRs, and so if I were to take on Malboro with the same team again, he would be wrecked way quicker. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video and the strategy guide and with the thoughts behind it. I'll see you guys next time.